Sam, I wanted to step back just a second when you were talking about the churches that are dying.
Yeah.
And these are the kind of reports the enemy wants us to see, just like the false reports we see about our government here. The evangelical societies in this country will tell you they're keeping track of this. There's new churches popping up. They're evangelical. They're not organized religion. They don't want anything to do with organized religion, so they don't count as churches per se. But these are people that are saved, and they want to, they want to worship God, not some figure that's the head of the church or something like this. And I think that's the early stages of some of the revival that needs to happen in this country.
Amen.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking what Tom was saying about having to make unpopular decisions, basically for your children.
Mm-hmm.
See, I have one of my boys resents me very much so because of that very thing, not letting him do what the people that he ran with do. And in his case, the Gothic movement was moving really good, and he already had long hair, But I would say, you don't put earrings in your ear. And even though everybody today says to, you don't paint your fingernails black. I said, you're a man. You're not a woman to be painting yourself up like a lady and whatever. And you know what? He still, to this day, is bitter against me. But we're a fast food generation. Even the Christians are a fast food generation. We want everything now. And if we don't see God moving right on the spot, we get upset with him. And we blame others, we blame ourselves or whatever. But I notice with God, time is at his discretion. And in his time, he'll bring them around, that raise up a child in the way that he should go, and such. But we want it, and we want it now.
Yes.
And we're talking to the Creator who's the one that saves us anyway. We don't save our children, and it's hard to just step back and let go. We put what we can in them, and then we have to trust God, to come through. And he does. It's just that we're very impatient.
I heard a good statement relating to that. Someone the other day on the radio was talking. They said, we call it unanswered prayer. And she said, but the truth is, God doesn't always give us what we want, but he always gives us what we need.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't get what we want, and so we call it unanswered prayer. But he knows what we need more than we do. It made a lot of sense.
Elsie.
Yeah.
Elsie, one day, when I was over at the shop one day, we were talking about his kids. And he shared testimony that to me that his daughters came were talking, and he says, LJ, Dad, we were so mad at you because you didn't let us have the fun and everything like everybody else. But I want to thank you. I think that's what he told me. They thanked them because a lot of their friends have been married, divorced, pregnant,
in jail, in prison,
and all that stuff, and they didn't go through all of that, because of that. And so, it's only until we become more mature, we go through stuff that we come to a realization of as a parent, how we're supposed to raise our children, because the only thing that we have to go by is what's in the house. If your father was an alcoholic, drug addict, or just abuser or whatever, that's what you know the world to be. And until you come to become an adult and you start finding out that no, this is not life the way it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, it's what it is. So we go through
That's still
these
pretty
changes
good.
in our lives. There's families that, the whole family's been abusers and alcohol or drugs or whatever, Maybe they were good people, but they were just mean people or whatever. And that's what we learn. And so there's a behavior change that we have to go through to understand that when we accept Christ, and this is not the way it is, no, this is not this. We're supposed to love on our and so it's a change. But what you're saying, yeah, it is, and that's why it's so important for us because again, the time is at hand. Bible talks about that these things will occur more and more rapidly, and the word says about a cooling off, and that if he didn't stop it or he didn't interfere, even the elite would be misled.
Yeah.
Even the elite. And so that's why it's so important for us that, and the other thing is that when we're ministering to people, alcoholics, drug addicts, or even they're not like that, but maybe they have a different lifestyle that we all need to be trained and taught. We cannot point our fingers at those folks that they're this and they're that. Who made us judge and jury? We are. The Bible says you have to in a sense, but I said do not do that. I mean, I've gone from this Lapeer to down this street to that way, and God's bringing me around, keeping me around, and just giving me that tender heart again, for those that are hurt, those that are suffering, those that are going through the stuff out there, and some of these drugs that are out here today, man, they're straight from the pit of hell, and these people are dying by the groves.
Yeah.
And to get out of these addictions is like something incredible. I mean, and so we can't be so hard on these folks. We gotta love them into the kingdom. Who am I to say that guy that young lady that accepted Christ, that she OD'd, that she's not going to go to heaven? Who made me judge? I see her. I'll see her up there in heaven, man.
They still get their judgment day, so.
Yeah.
Everybody does, and we're allowed to we're only supposed to be judging fruits. The spirit is judged by God.
The Son.
We're not capable of doing that.
I always thought Elsie was foolish.
Well, that's why we call them no. No, but I mean, and if you do judge fruits, the Spirit then can tell you how you can minister to that person to help them.
Right.
And that's what we have to do. We have to help one another. Yeah. God's word says, if you see a brother's need and you can meet it, you should meet it.
Yeah.
You don't go, oh, well, we'll pray for your brother. No, if I can help you out physically, financially, or whatever you need, then I do it. And because that's what God says for me to do.
Right. Right. MC, go ahead.
I'm finished. Short and sweet.
I got a side
He's
note.
just putting his presence here. He's finished.
I got a side note. It's going way back a while ago when we were talking about how things are happening in the world, and Sam said, yeah, something could happen in Beirut, and you know about it, 15 minutes later. I think it was in the 80s when they came out with World News. And if you read in Revelations, it says the two witnesses will be killed and lay in the street 3 days, and then they'll rise, and the whole world will see them all at the same time. How could that have ever happened unless God allowed a world news to be on the scene today?
Secret squirrel.
And that's and even then, I guarantee you, the world news will try and suppress that from going around the world.
Amen. Go ahead.
I just want to follow up on something I mentioned. I think it was last week. I had a friend sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
Well, I took him to Safe Harbor. He's in Safe Harbor, and he just called me last night that his daughter got a room for him up in Buffalo, New York, is where he came down from. But the reason why he wants to go back to Buffalo, New York is there's this neurologist surgeon who wants to work on 6 vertebrae in his neck, and it's in the motion, and it's got to pass one more door to be approved for him to go through the surgery.
Amen.
So I told him, I said, something's got to break, something will give, John. And I said, that's the needle and the thread. That's what needed to give. and it gave. So it was like, in his mind, it was a prayer come true.
Sure,
So,
yeah.
Amen. Amen. You know, and I commend you for that because, again, you know, we are our brother's keeper. You know, that we cannot be so busy that we cannot see a brother hurting and help them. And when you're able to do that, you know, I remember bringing a couple of homeless guys to my house one time to shower because we had a shower in the garage. That's the last time I did that because my wife
You show 'em where we live.
I almost had to move out of the garage myself.
oh, you mean you went right to the doghouse?
Yeah, big time, brother, big time.
And you know, when you do this too, also, we have to stop and we have to pray about, we have to seek out the Holy Spirit's direction. Because sometimes we want to help, I want to help somebody.
Yeah,
And it's not me that's supposed to help them.
yeah,
And you get that, hold back a second. And the person that can get a blessing is by helping them, the Lord gets them to help them. You would have tripped that up if you just moved on in on your own.
Well, I look at it this way. You tripped that person into finding that other person. In other words,
No, but I'm
he
saying,
was going to you, but it just gave enough time for
I-
that other
I'm
person.
talking about what I see.
Right,
If I see
okay.
and I want to move, and the Spirit says hold back, I've come to realize that there's somebody else they want to bring in that needs to grow and grow by blessing that person.
You were just stalling that person that needed
You
to
know,
see the
I mean,
other
I
person.
talk to him, but I mean, I won't meet the need. If God says meet that need, then I'm going to meet it.
Right.
Yeah. See, what we got to make sure is that we are God's hands and feet and mouthpiece. A lot of times we want to be the Holy Spirit too, and we can't be the Holy Spirit to anybody. We can only be the hands, the feet, and the mouthpiece.
We got to be brain dead. The rest of the body can work, but the brain's got to be dead. Can't make any decisions. Let God do it.
Unless it's been totally renewed.
Yep.
amen. Well,
And that's a process.
As as you guys drive around and you see more people like that young man, not that I'm a saying that he is, and you see more people around, and you know they're wanderers. You're seeing the wanderers more and more. You get your eyes trained, and there's a great need. It's a great need, and so we just have to continue in our prayer, and God will bring people that we may have an influence in, or might be able to help them, and that But again, let's keep our radars open, man, because people like that young lady, my friend's wife that committed suicide. She was going to church. She was just a happy person.
The pictures, he's smiling ear to ear.
Yeah, but the sad part about it is that inside there is something
She was
that's happening,
hurting.
and if we're not conscientious of those things,
Right.
I don't know what we can do. You can't blame yourself for nothing. The point is that that's the reality. That's what's happening out there, and it's important for us not to forsake the gathering. The word says not to forsake the gathering, and so we need to gather. We need to be a part of a group that come together and talk the hard stuff. We could hear all the good word, unique to the word, but you know what? Sometimes we just got to be real with one another. And hey, man, I'm going through this. Like Sam right here. I know that he don't say nothing. We don't talk. But I know, but when he does talk, it's like EFI, And but I know his wife passed away not too long ago,
Right.
and now he's living that at home, and I don't know, we don't know how many times and that he shares tears at home. Thinks about her, he's by himself and stuff. So we love you, man, and
And he knows that even when he
In a
thinks
Christian way, we love him.
when he thinks he's alone, he knows he's not alone. See, that's what Sam's got. Sam's got Jesus, and he knows that Jesus is there, even in the dark times.
yeah.
That's that's what we have to grab onto. And like I have found, we talk about people that we've seen might need things or struggling. Being an Uber driver, I want to tell you something. People that need Jesus, They come with credit cards too. You don't see it when they're out there because they're doing well. You get them in the back seat, they start asking you questions, and they go, okay. You know, you understand here spiritually, this person is starving.
God has no respect for a person.
Nope.
And nobody knows what's going on inside of somebody's heart and mind. You know, you could take a man like Robin Williams, made the whole world laugh,
Oh, yeah.
and then to
One
take
man
his
I
own-
never wanted to chew me out.
just, you know.
But that one thing I shared with
And we
you,
put facades up as men, you know. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine, man, you know. And we could be hurting, you know.
Not ready to share.
Yeah.
now, I think I've shared this with you once before, and this made me kind of open my eyes up, is that sometimes it's just little things. I had a black lady riding my back seat one time, and she was asked, she's been a born-again Christian for 20-something years, and she goes, you know, but something bugs me. She goes, I keep reading the Bible. She goes, what does Selah mean? And when you want to see the light go on, when I said it just means to pause and praise. Oh, whole new meaning. You know, it's just sometimes it's just little
I
things.
had a lady when I had our ministry over here at Optimart. We used to have a Bible study midweek in the morning, and we closed the center down. We didn't open it up till about 11, 12 o'clock on Wednesday, and it grew to about 30 people. And but what I did is that I had people there, like for example, I would say, Sam, next week you oversee give us a 5-minute devotion. But I've never done that before. Well, good, by the time he did that, you know. So I had this one lady, she's been in church all her life. And she never was able to stand and share a devotion. And that's the pastor. No. You got that wrong there. You're not just him, but his job is to train the teacher. Well, that lady came in the next day, brother, the next week, and she shared a devotion that was out of sight. And that lady stood there because she said, nobody's ever given me the opportunity to do this.
You didn't know what was gonna.
Yeah.
All you had to do was open the gates on the dam.
And this is what I'm saying. You know, sometimes we're boxed in these traditional type things that God. That's a tradition of men, not of God.
Yeah.
And so when that lady was able to share, and I had other people that never done that before to be able to share a devotional. And some of them, man, were off the chain, bro. I said, this is good, see, because you know what, God, you have it in you. Every one of us has, God has poured it, and it's by the word of our testimony. You know, the things of life the life that we've gone through, the hurt, the pain, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we all have that opportunity to share that love and that compassion with people, especially in these days that we're in right now. You know, it's getting worse out there. And what happens is that we get so busy in our world that we're walking around with our heads down like this, and we don't see what's around us. But I've always been taught, when you get in the back of the bus, you get in the bus, you go sit in the back. Why you sit in the back?
More fun back there.
Observe.
Because you could observe everybody coming in, and you know, food or whatever it is, you know. But you watch your head up and you see people, and ask God to reveal to you, you know, someone needs to be talked to, or just a word. Hey, you know, Sam, I just want to let you know, man, God loves you. I don't know why, but it does. Amen.
And you said that, you know, she had never did it because nobody ever asked her to, you know, and something we do to ourselves is we limit ourselves sometimes. And we tell ourselves, well, that's not my job. I shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? When we're all called to be ministers. You know what I mean? And so there is no his job, her job. You know.
I got something I want to share that's been on my mind a lot lately. And I'm not asking for a result, I'm just asking for us to change our way of thinking about how we think about these people. And what I'm talking about is aggressive drivers. It's a pandemic now, it's off the hook. It really is bad. I got passed on that road right there coming this way, and somebody passed me. So I was thinking about it today, and I'm going to start saying a prayer for them every time someone's aggressive at me, and hopefully send the Holy Spirit towards them, enlighten them.
That's what I do.
It's just something we really need to
Pray for them, don't curse
try
them.
to, instead of, I've been saying for a month, whatever you do, don't be an aggressive driver. Please don't be an aggressive driver. I've been saying that to people. And I'm finally gotten to the point, well, I'm just going to say a prayer and let God do what He does.
Yeah.
But in other words, instead of putting the burden on me, and I'm trying to share the word with it.
Yep.
So it'll be good for me and good for the person that.
Do that often up on U.S. International Speedway up here.
Oh yeah, that's where all the NASCAR drivers are, right?
I know they live up.
I'm
They
sure.
live up near me in countryside heading this
I was
way.
I was on a country
You gotta
road
do
last night.
You got to do 65 to get out of their way.
Coming back.
Yeah, and when the NASCAR drivers go to sleep, then the Fast and Furious come out.
Yeah, yeah.
I was on a 2-lane country road last night coming back from Crystal River, and it's this winding road. It's double yellow all the way, and the speed limit's 60. And I'm in my van, and I'm doing 70. And this guy comes up behind me, doesn't even hesitate, comes across that double yellow line and goes in front of me. And thank God nobody was coming around these corners and turns, because we'd all been in it. You know what I mean? My wife says,
Oh, they
"Shoot,
don't
that
think of
guy's
that. They
crazy."
think they can get through that.
Yeah.
Got mine.
I don't know where he was going, what he thought he had to be to, but man, I just looked at that and said, Lord, I'm glad you didn't make me like that.
But I got
He was
it.
talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
That's something I just wanted to put out there for food
See,
for
I'm-
thought. Maybe with other people have.
Good, bad, and the ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Spaghetti. You like eating spaghetti westerns, huh?
I was a kid when that
Fistful
movie
of
came out.
dollars and $100 more.
Me too.
What's
Lord
that?
put on my heart to pray for drivers.
I'm still a
for
kid.
the
I'm one of
last
God's
few
kids.
months, that they say that our ministry has a lot of automobiles.
Yeah, and you put a lot of miles on the
And
road.
they say that I'm on the road a bunch when I have to go to help or take the airport and stuff like
Yeah, I see
that.
people in the
But
car
I'll
when
tell
that
you,
goes off
just
when I'm
yesterday,
driving.
I just
If
had
I
to
get
go
a call,
over
that
to
goes
the
off through my
hospital to have
Bluetooth.
blood test
They
done.
just
I left
crack
my
up
house
laughing.
just on 58th Avenue, which is only 5 minutes to there. And they said, I went over, I got my blood done, I came out, and at the corner of 58th Avenue and 49th Street, 2 cars were just about demolished. And they say, within the 5 minutes that I was in, getting my blood done, I came back out, and I thought, thank you, Lord, number one, I wasn't in it. And they say, it seems like everywhere I go lately, there's accidents, or like what you're saying, I go across that Howard Franklin to take people to the airport, even at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, that time of the morning, it's 100 plus.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the people that go by you, you think to stop. Just don't jump out of your car.
And don't stay in the right lane. Stay in the middle lane because they want to pass you on the right
They'll
too.
pass you any way going. And they say,
Crazy out there.
I ride a motorcycle occasionally too, but I'll tell you, the motorcycles, when they're cutting in and out like that,
And all of them,
they say they're doing well over the 100
and
miles.
they're changing lanes without directionals or anything else. They're just zing, zing,
And they say
zing.
just,
And they asked the ones, they figured that roughly about 60-something% don't use directionals in this area.
Yeah.
And they did an
I'm gonna give
anonymous
it to my
poll.
friend.
And
Okay.
the majority of them, you know what their answer was why they didn't use the directionals? They were too busy.
Give him one of these two.
Too busy what? Texting? Talking on the phone?
I was going to say, that's the other epidemic that we're into.
Would they get rained on?
People texting and having their head down.
I might have a better
When
one.
they're driving,
that's
when
all
they
right.
stop and
You won't
especially
mind.
at a red light, they don't go.
Yeah.
And everything
But
else.
you
Give
know,
one of these, too.
they've changed the laws and they can stop you just for texting now.
I know.
And it's a hefty fine.
But they say it's an epidemic.
Oh, yeah.
And they say it's even to the kids walking on the street. walking to the school. The Elman School is right
Yeah,
beside me
there's-
there.
well,
These kids that are, only 10 years old, they're walking along and they come and they cross the road. They still got their phone in there. They don't
Boy,
have
did
a-
I start a seed, huh?
No, I'm just saying, it's an epidemic.
it is,
So we have
it
to be
is.
watching a lot.
It is an epidemic, or a pandemic. I mean, it really, it's,
There's a restaurant that I saw on Facebook that they confiscate your phone when you come in.
Yeah. Have to throw it in the basket.
Because you're there to eat with your family, right?
no interruption.
So they take your phone away from you.
Communicate with your
And
family.
so that way you're able to converse with your people are here like that with their family. My wife and I were at a restaurant down, Shell's down on the beach or something, and we're seeing that, everybody around the table had cell phones and nobody was speaking.
I've seen that.
And I'll be honest with you, it is addictive. These iPhones are addictive. The information age.
They're distracted.
They were saying the other day on the radio that millennials look at their phone every 30 seconds to see if did I miss, did I got a text.
Who? Millennium?
Millennials.
The younger
That's
people
the new,
now.
Okay.
That
new
scenario
thing,
you talked about around the table, they've actually had times where there's 4 or 5 kids around the table. They're talking to each other by texting. Right there.
Well, me and my wife will go out to dinner, a nice place or something, and there's a couple, I assume they're husband and wife, and they're both there on their phones. They ain't paying a bit of attention to one another. They eat their whole meal, they get up, and they're still. It's like,
Date night with the phone.
what kind of marriage do they have?
And
They probably
and-
bring their phone to bed too.
The real sin is, though, they do it when they're driving.
But the high school kids,
see that,
they
too.
say they actually have anxiety attacks if they forget their phone at home.
Oh, yeah.
Panic
That's the end of the
attacks in
world,
school.
yeah.
I have forgot my phone and I'm all the way here. I said, I gotta go home. Seriously, this is my. for
That's
me,
your office.
This is my office, and people call me and this and that, and so.
You know what? I left this at home when I didn't have to go out Ubering or anything. One time I forgot it, and I got down there. I said, "Oh, I'm only going to be gone for an hour or so." The next time, I deliberately left it. I was gone all day long, and it was the most relaxing day I had all week. And now, if I don't have to, if I'm going someplace, I don't have to work. I'm not waiting for something coming in. Right on the counter, I said, "See you later, phone," and go out the door and get in the car. And man, I love it.
It's amazing you found that piece by doing that.
Quite by accident. I think the Lord was showing me.
Most people don't find peace by doing that. I
Oh
find
man.
But it takes you a minute because I've done it. My wife, we went to a movie or something like that, and I forget the phone. Oh, shit! My wife said, "Good,
Yeah.
good." So okay, forget about
But
it.
that's what happened when I got in the car the first time. I was driving out and I'm going down the road and I went, "Oh, heck with it."
I hate
And that
them.
was the end of it.
MC,
Yes.
what's going on, buddy?
Everything's working beautiful. I was just thinking, I've been dealing with my mom, my elder brother.
Yes, tell us about that.
Well, anyway, we got her in a nursing home, but it's quite a ways from our home house, So we have to drive quite a ways. I said, boy, she ain't gonna know nobody when she gets it. When she got there, I was surprised that all of the nurses, most of the nurses there knew her from church, going to different churches. Oh, but we're gonna take care of her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Then you go back and say, Mom, you get in a rest like that. You can't rest in this place. Everybody coming in checking on you.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's so good.
When you find a good home like that, you can relax a little bit knowing they're being watched.
That's
You're
awesome.
still going up there quite often, right?
Oh yeah, I got to go back next week probably.
Where's that?
Georgia.
It's in
Oh,
Georgia,
Georgia.
right
It's
up
a long,
from,
it's a long way. You gotta run
Man,
the
that's a
border.
day's
Down the
drive.
street.
up from Tallahassee. I'm just 50,
across the border?
50-some miles from
Tallahassee.
and I think 30-something miles from Dothan, Alabama.
Okay, yeah.
Right by the line.
Yeah, right
up
over
in
the
the
line.
panhandle.
But when she
The
had
new
me
Florida.
coming back up this way from going, coming back east from, it's quite a drive. But anyway, one other thing I'd like to share. When she married the last time, Well, this was the last time. So, you know, your mom, when she, with dad all these years, now you with another man, you know, that is something else. And so we had a party for her, and I got up and told him, I said, I didn't like it when you married, but to myself, I said, well, who cares what you like? But you know, they both in the same nursing home, in the same room. So
Wow.
right there. Yeah,
That's
he's
perfect.
good.
Yep.
But you know, I watched in him, the scripture came to me about Moses when he got to the Red Sea, to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. That's what he did, because he and his oldest daughter, we came up, we said the same thing. We didn't like it. But I watched him, the Lord showed it to me the last time, how he just stood still and didn't fight nothing and everything else. And then when he got sick, when they had to take him from the nursing home to the hospital in Albany, they called me first, you know, they called me, and I said, Lord, see how you're bringing us together.
Mm-hmm.
That's the salvation of the part, you know, bringing the family together.
Amen. Yep.
Amen.
Salvation.
Well, gentlemen, again, you know, everyone, we all have influence. Everyone has influence here, whether you think so or not.
Somebody looks up to you.
And just like you said, you know, you guys bring the people together. You didn't realize that's what
We
you're
know
doing.
at that time, you know, but God is working, what to say,
Yeah.
behind the scene, in a sense.
Amen. So we all have influence. And the thing is that, you know, I was going to do something here, but, you know, I never did. I do whatever God wants.
What are you doing now?
Well, I was going to do I ain't going to do it now.
45-minute sermon now.
No. I'm just going to, really.
Condensed into
He
4.
got 10 minutes to deliver it.
Time's up.
Promise Keeper is committed to pursue vital relationships with few other men, understanding that he needs brothers to help him keep his promise. And I like that. That's the second promise that they have of the 7 promises. And I've always liked that. And I think we've always, throughout the 20 years
That's accountability.
that we've had this group, is that we've always stand there. And the reality is that the importance of us of coming together and encouraging and building one another.